with dinner.
It was Christmas Eve, 2001. I was 6 years old at the time. My parents had gone to the store in town to grab some last-minute supplies for Christmas. They'd left me in the barely capable hands of my older brother. I was downstairs in the living room watching some cartoons on TV, while he was upstairs in his room listening to metal. As I'm sitting there, watching Dexter's Lab, I caught something out of the corner of my eye. Passing by my living room window was a guy in a big, floppy red hat. He stopped at the window and looked in at me. It was a man dressed up in a cheap Santa suit. He had the big, fake white beard and everything, even a large sack slung over his shoulder. Now, to my childish mind, this really was Santa paying me a visit. Still, even then, I knew something was off. What unsettled me about him as he stared in through the window at me were his eyes. They looked sickly and yellow, with dark bags hanging under them. His cheeks were sunken, and he didn't exactly look like the holly jolly jelly belly Santa I imagined growing up. He looked in at me for an uncomfortably long amount of time, and I looked back. Rather than be filled with joy, I just felt uncomfortable, but being so young, I didn't exactly know how to react. Santa was a good guy, right? While looking in, he motioned towards our front door, as if to say, "Let me in." I got up off the couch and walked into the hallway. I unlocked the door, but didn't touch the screen door in front of it like my parents had taught me. As such, there was still a thin layer between myself and the Santa now standing on my porch.
Oh, ho, ho. Why, hello there, little boy. Merry Christmas. And what's your name?
Michael. I remember feeling confused that he didn't know my name. I always thought Santa knew every kid's name. Wasn't he supposed to have a list?
Nice to meet you, Michael. Do you know who I am?
I nodded yes.
Well, I've heard you've been a very good boy this year, so I brought you this.
He dipped his hands into the sack and pulled out a wrapped present, held it out in front of him as if to say, "Come and get it." Being so young and naive, I was tempted to open the screen door and take the gift, but my parents had drilled stranger danger into me hard, to the point where I didn't even trust Santa Claus. All I could think to do was tell Santa that he had come too early and that he should come back at nighttime like he was supposed to. Put the present under our tree, you know?
Come now, Michael. Open up and come and get your present. It's a doozy.
The temptation was strong. I wanted the present, obviously. My imagination ran away with me, thinking about which new, cool toy it could be. But I needed permission. I shouted up to my brother, "Daniel, come down here real quick." I'll never forget how that Santa's eyes widened as I shouted that upstairs. Without hesitation, he turned and walked away. He hopped into a van outside our house that still had its engine running. All I could think was, where are the reindeer? Within moments of getting in, he drove off down the road, never to be seen again. Not by me, at least. My brother hadn't even heard me shouting because of the metal he was blasting. When my parents came back, I told them about the Santa that came to visit. They thought I was just pretending or playing a game. A couple of days after Christmas, the news broke out. An 8-year-old boy in our town had disappeared from his house after his parents ran to the stores. They'd only left him alone for 10 minutes. They never found him. My folks believed my story after that, and never left me alone with my brother again. I thank my lucky stars we had that screen door rule in my home.